Hey everybody, Zach here at etrailer.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Thule Camber on our 2014 Chevrolet Malibu. This will be a 4-style hanging bike rack that is going to allow you to carry a lot of bikes to the trail, whether it's friends or family. The one thing with hanging style bike racks is I like that it gets us up off the ground a little bit more, and it's a more economical way to carry a lot of bikes to wherever we're trying to go. Now when we are carrying bikes like this with the hanging style, it's best to not use carbon bikes. So we don't have a carbon bike on here today, so you might want to look into platform style racks if you have a carbon bike. And one thing that these bikes tend to have an issue with when they're on the hanging style is how close they sit together. So you can see there's a little bit of movement there even with that anti-sway, but if we didn't have that there, we'd have quite a bit. But with those sitting so close to one another, you're going to have the bike's kind of getting tangled up. You may have some contact as they're going down the road. You can see that movement. They're probably going to hit one another. But what Thule did is they spaced out those cradles. Now they used to sit a lot closer together because we didn't want to have a really big long rack, but they've kind of had everything else a little bit more compact. And what we get out of this is 7 inches of space from center on center to those cradles. So we're getting a lot more space to make our bikes fit a little bit more even, so they're not all a tangled mess, but we're also not adding a whole bunch to the back of our car either. Now, to get this off and how it's held in place is with 3 points of contact. So we have 2 straps up here on the top tube, and then we have one on our seat post tube right there. So we'll get these removed. You can see that they're just straps that have a groove that lock in place to get a nice fit. You just press that button to pull it out. It's going to be the same on all 3. Get those removed. We'll get this out of the way. You can see there I was getting caught up on some of those straps. That's one side or downside to hanging style racks is also taking it off, especially if you have a smaller frame. You can tuck these straps back into themselves. There's a little spot there where you can make it a little bit tighter whenever you're getting those off. If we take a closer look at these straps though, they have some rubber grooves on each side there to allow us to have a little bit better protection on our bike so that plastic strap isn't harming the finish of our bike. And then here we have some cushion there. This is going to be rubber pad there with some grooves to protect our brake lines, or if you've got any other cables there, you can see those are going to be able to rotate to get a better fit on your bike. Now, to get some measurements here to show you how much this adds to the back of the vehicle, from our bumper, we're adding about 40 inches to the back of our car. So it's a pretty decent amount of room. You can fold this down. So you come to this lever up here at the top, folds down, get that audible click there to know that it's secure, and that saves us a ton of space. Now we're only adding about 10 inches to the back of our vehicle. So this is a good way if you wanted to leave this on throughout the week when you're not using it. We're not going to take up a ton of space. It's not going to be sticking out outside of parking spaces. The closest point is going to be right down here, and that does sit fairly close. That's about 1.75 inches, and that's about 1.75 inches as well. So you can see how that bumper kind of angles in there. Now our ground clearance isn't very high, so getting in and out of a driveway you may have some clearance issues, and that's about 8.25 inches off the ground, so that sticks a little bit lower than our hitch here. So that's all metal though, so if you did scrape that, it's not great for the bike rack, but you don't have to worry about anything getting damaged down there unless you hit it really hard. Now the way that this is held in place is with 1.25 inch hitch here today. It does come with an adapter to make it fit with 2-inch hitches as well. And it does have an included anti-rattle bolt. So you can see it takes the shake and play out of there, which is important. We don't want this bike rack moving around a whole bunch when we're going down the road, especially with those bikes loaded up. And then this construction is really nice. It, for the most part, is constructed of steel. We've got a little bit of a plastic housing up here to kind of hide the movement of the tilting feature. But overall, Thule makes really good bike racks. They've been making them for a long time. They put a lot of engineering into them to make sure that they work well and last a long time. But that's going to do it for a look at the Thule Camber on our 2014 Chevrolet Malibu.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action. This simulates turning corners or evasively maneuvering. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Once we get to the full speed bumps, we'll see the up and down action. This will be just like driving in and out of a parking lot, parking garage, or driveway.